Good morning. My topic is microbial pathogenicity. In this chapter, we will discuss about infection and its type, mode of transmission, and factors predisposing microbial pathogenicity. First, let's see what is a microbe. Microbe is a tiny living thing which cannot be seen by our naked eyes. Depending on relationship of microbes with respect to humans, microbes are classified into two: saprophytes and parasites. Saprophytes are free-living microbes that live on dead or decaying matter. They are unable to invade living body. Parasites lives on living host and derives nutrition from the host without any benefits to the host. There are some terms we will comes to know: commensals, pathogen, opportunistic pathogen, pathogenicity, and virulence. Commensals are the microbes that live in harmony and that does not cause any harm to the host. They constitute the normal flora of the body, such as Staphylococcus epidermis of the skin and Escherichia coli of GIT. Pathogen, they are the microorganisms capable of producing disease in host. Opportunistic pathogen are the pathogen produce disease when body resistance is lower. In normal condition, they do not produce any disease, but when the body resistance is lower, they produce disease. They are called opportunistic pathogen. Pathogenicity, it is the ability of the microbe to produce disease. Virulence is the degree of pathogenicity of a microbe. Now let's move to infection. Infection is defined as lodgement and multiplication of a infectious agent in the body. When an infectious agent enters into the body and they multiply and causes disease, it is called an infection. All infections does not result in disease. Now let's see the classification of infection. There are primary, reinfection, secondary infection, cross, nosocomial, subclinical, iatrogenic. Primary infection, when initial infection with a parasite in a host is called a primary infection. Reinfection, when subsequent infection with the same parasite in the same host. Secondary infection, when the body resistance is lowered by a pre-existing disease, a new infection is set by a new parasite. Cross infection, when a patient already suffering from a disease acquires new infection from another host, it is called cross infection. Nosocomial infection, it is acquired in hospitals. Subclinical infection, when clinical symptoms of an infection are not apparent. Iatrogenic infections are when physicians induced infection resulting from drug therapy or investigative procedures. Portal of entry. How this infectious agents enters into the body: through oral, respiratory, GIT, conjunctival or cutaneous route. And let's see what is incubation period. It is defined as the time interval between the entry of infective agent and onset of clinical manifestation of disease. Now let's see what are the types of infectious disease. There are two types of infectious diseases are present. They are localized infection and generalized infectious disease. Localized infectious disease, they are the infection that is limited to a specific part of the body and has local symptoms. For example, ulcers. When the infectious agent enters into the body, they produces acute inflammatory reaction at the site, and it is seen in ulcers. Generalized infectious disease, they are the infection when that enters to the bloodstream and has general systemic symptoms like fever, chills, and low BP. Example, typhoid fever, bacteremia, septicemia, and pyemia. These are also seen when the bacteria enters into the blood. Circulation of bacteria in blood is called a bacteremia, and when this bacteria circulate and multiply in blood, they form toxic products and cause high fever. They are called septicemia. Pyemia means when pyogenic bacteria produce septicemia with multiple abscess in internal organ. That is when pyogenic bacteria causes abscess in the internal organ. That is called a pyemia. Depending on spread of infectious diseases in community, it is classified as endemic, epidemic, and pandemic. These terms are very familiar for us. Endemic, it is a disease which is constantly present in a particular area. When a particular area has a disease for constant time, it is called a endemic. Example, enteric fever. Epidemic is when a particular area has a spread of a disease for at least the same time. That is a disease that spread rapidly, involving many persons in a particular area at same time. Pandemic, we are also going through the same period, COVID pandemic. It is an epidemic that spread through many areas of the world, involving very large number of persons. Now let's move to transmission of infection. There are three links in the chain of transmission. First one is reservoir, mode of transmission, and susceptible host. Reservoir. It refers to any human being, animal, plant, soil, or inanimate matter in which the parasite lives, multiplies, and depends for its survival. Mainly the sources. In sources we can see endogenous sources, exogenous sources, and many other sources. Endogenous sources are the organisms of normal flora that are usually non-pathogenic but occasionally behave as pathogens outside their habitat. As we have discussed above, they are commensal pathogens. When they are present on their normal habitat, they are non-pathogenic, but when they are present outside the habitat, they are pathogenic. Example, Escherichia coli, which is a normal flora of the skin, but when it is present in urinary tract, it causes UTI. Viridans streptococci, which causes infective endocarditis. This is a endogenous source, means within the body. Exogenous sources are human cases and carriers. The most common source of human infection is human itself. We can see carrier, types of carrier, and all. Let's see what are the types of carrier. Carrier. When a person who harbor the pathogenic microorganism without suffering from its ill effect are called carrier. Means they carry the pathogen, but they do not have any ill effect of the infection. Healthy carriers, they harbor the pathogen but never suffered from the disease caused by particular pathogen. They carry the pathogen but they did not even suffer from the disease. They are called a healthy carrier. A convalescent carrier who has recovered from the disease but continues to harbor the pathogen in his body. They are the carriers. They have recovered from the disease but they still carry the pathogen in their body. Temporary carriers, they are the carriers which last for about 6 months. Chronic carriers harbors a pathogen for several years and sometimes for the rest of one's life. Paradoxical carrier, a person who acquires a pathogen from another carrier. And the contact carrier are one who acquires the pathogen from a patient. So humans are the most common source of human infection and they forms a carrier in many infection. Now let's see animals. Animals, zoonozoans, zoonosos or zoonotic animals, they are the infectious disease transmitted from animals to the man. In bacteria, viral, protozoa, helminth and fungals also, the animals are also a mean for transmission of disease. Then insect. Insect means in insect, diseases transmitted by insects are called arthropod-borne diseases. The insect transmitting diseases are called vectors. Okay, what are vectors? They are the insect transmitting diseases, whereas the arthropod-borne diseases are the diseases transmitted by the insect. There are two types of vectors, that is mechanical vectors and biological vectors. Mechanical vectors carry the organism or infection on their wings and legs and body. Whereas biological vectors, they are in biological vectors, the pathogen multiplies in the body of vectors. We can see the examples of each. In mechanical vectors, transmission of typhoid bacilli to man through food by domestic fly. In biological vectors, this pathogen multiplies in the body of vectors. For example, female Anopheles mosquito in malarial parasite. Soil and water is also a mode of source. Some pathogens may survive in the soil for very long period. Example, spores of tetanus and gas gangrene bacillus. They remains in the soil for long period and can cause infectious diseases. Fungi causing histoplasmosis and parasites such as roundworm and hookworm also transmit diseases. Contamination of water with pathogenic microorganism is also a source of infection. Example, Vibrio cholerae and hepatitis V. Hepatitis virus. Then food. The contaminated food also causes infections such as food poisoning, gastroenteritis, diarrhea and dysentery. Now we have seen the resources or the source of infectious agent or how it is transmitted. Now next we are going to discuss about the modes of transmission, that is how this infection is transmitted from one person to the another. What are the modes? The first one is contact. By contact, it can be direct contact or indirect contact. Direct contact diseases are sexually transmitted diseases. Example: AIDS, syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes simplex virus. By indirect contact, it forms the agency of inanimate objects like clothes, toys, etc. Direct contact causes diseases, and such diseases are called contagious disease, and the disease caused by indirect contact are called infectious disease. And the second mode of transmission is inhalation. As we all know, by inhalation, it causes respiratory infections like common cold, influenza, whooping cough, tuberculosis, etc. The secretion from the nose, throat during coughing, sneezing, or speaking is shed to the environment, and if it is a large droplet, it falls onto the ground and gets dry out. When it is of small droplets, which is less than 0.1 mm in diameter, evaporate to droplet nuclei and remain in air for long periods, acting as a source of infection. So there are many diseases which are airborne. That means they are in small droplets. The size is less than 0.1 mm, so that they forms droplet nuclei and causes diseases and remains in the air for long period. The another mode of transmission is ingestion. Ingestion of contaminated food or water causes intestinal infections like cholera, dysentery, food poisoning, etc. That means contaminated food or water causes the infection. That is ingestion. Inoculation. Inoculation means pathogen may be inoculated directly into the tissues of the host. Example: rabies virus by a rabid animal bite. Infection by inoculation may be iatrogenic when unsterile syringes and equipments are used. Example: hepatitis B virus and HIV. That is during the treatment or in the hospitals, when the equipments are not good sterilized, it causes iatrogenic infection, which is caused by inoculation. Now vectors. As we discussed, as we have discussed above, the vectors are the insects causing diseases, and the arthropod-borne diseases are the diseases transmitted by the insect. Example: mosquitoes, flies, fleas, ticks, mites, lice, etc. Now transplacental diseases, that is infection, which can cross the placental barrier and infect the fetus in utero. That is called a vertical transmission. This causes miscarriage, abortion, or stillbirth. In conjunctival syphilitis, the live infants may be born with a manifestation of diseases, and they are called a teratogenic infection. Also in rubella virus, even in the first trimester also, the fetus show congenital malformations. These infections are called a teratogenic infection. Now, iatrogenic and laboratory infection. These are nothing but these are the infections which is caused by not taking good care or using unsterilized equipment, syringes in the hospital during surgeries and treatment. For example, AIDS and hepatitis virus. They are called a iatrogenic infection. Now, susceptible host. Susceptible host, it depends on the outcome of infection, depend on interaction between the microbial factors which predisposes to the pathogenicity and various host factors which contribute to the resistance. So there are two factors, the host factor and the microbial factors, that predispose to the pathogenicity and contribute to the resistance.